The slope and the y-intercept of the graph of f, this line right here, are changed. We're going to change the slope and the intercept. Here's the intercept. We're going to change that. Okay? Talking specifically about the y-intercept here. And we're going to make a graph of g right here. So we're going to change f, the slope on f, and the intercept on f, and you'll have g. Okay? Now, which statement describes the changes that were made to the graph of f to make the graph of g? How do we change f to get g? And this is one of our examples here. The slope was multiplied by 2. So did we just double the slope, and does that change the slope of f to be the slope of g? And then we decrease it by 5. Okay, so let's erase this right now. We're going to have A, B, C, and D, 4 choices. But right now, let's figure out what is the slope of f. Okay, what's the slope of f? Here is a nice point to start off for the slope of f. That point, and then come down here till it crosses 2 lines here. Right there. Crosses right here. Real nice little point right down here. Now, we're going to find out how much does it rise to go from there to there. So I'm going to draw a rectangle through these points. Okay? And I'm figuring the height of this rectangle is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the height. And the length or the width or whatever, you're going over 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So the slope of f is 7/4. But now notice, as I go upward here, as I go upward, I'm going to, with my left hand point left here. As I go upward, I'm going to the left. The slope of g, as I go upward, I'm pointing to the right. Okay? So when you figure out what the slope is, when you say I'm going upward to the left, you're going to say that's a negative slope. Okay? As you point upward with your hand, you have to use the left hand to go along here as you go up. So that's a negative slope. If we look at the slope of g, let's see, here's a good point right here, and where else? Right there. So put a point there and come down to here. Draw another rectangle through those, through those points there. It's going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. Only it's not going to go over 4 this time. It's going to go over 2. So the slope of g is 7/2. We're pointing upward to the right, so it has a plus slope. Okay, so now I have my 2 slopes. Now I can think, what do I do to f to get the slope for g? What do I do with that slope? What do I do with this one to get this one? Well, I'm going to multiply by some number, a constant number, multiply by a number, and I'm going to end up with this slope over here. Okay? So now all I have to do is solve this equation for c, and I'll find out what I multiply this slope by to get this one. Okay? So let's copy them down again, and I'm going to use the, to end up with a plus c down here, I'm going to have a negative times a negative, aren't I? Okay, we're going to copy these down, put them in parentheses, and we're going to find what number do I multiply this by to solve for c. So I want to have another negative, and I want to have the reciprocal of this. The reciprocal of that is 4/7, and as a negative times a negative is a positive. The 7's cancel and the 4's cancel. Okay, so if I multiply by a negative 4/7 on both sides, the 7's cancel, the 4's cancel, the negatives cancel, you end up with c here. Now here the 7's cancel, so forget about the 7's, they're not there, it's 1/1. And 2 goes into 4 2 times, so you're going to end up with a negative 2 on the right side. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So if I take the slope of f and take it times the negative 2, I'll get the slope of g. Alright? So let's remember that that's what we multiplied by, negative 2. Okay? Now, let's find out the difference in the intercepts here. We start at this intercept and we go down to this intercept. How far did I go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you're going from f to g, you're going downward 5, aren't you? So I decreased it by 5. Now let's put that thing up here again. We have we decreased it by 5, so that's right, but we're not multiplying by a plus 2, are we? Huh? It's a minus 2, so it's not a. You almost had it, almost, but not quite. Okay, no cigars would say. Okay, you're not increasing it by 5 because you're going from f to g, you're going down by 5. So answer B here, C is not negative 1/2. It may be negative, but it's not negative 1/2, and you're decreasing it by 5. Okay? So it looks like this is going to be my answer here. You multiply by -2 and you go down 5. So we're going to pick this one. Let's see what's wrong with the last one here. You increase by 5, that's what's wrong. And also C is not -2. So we're going to pick answer C here.